Every year, millions of seniors just like you line up for their annual health checkups, believing they're taking the best possible step to stay safe. But what if I told you that some of those very routine tests could actually be pushing you closer to unnecessary surgery, a stroke, or even cancer? It sounds unbelievable, but the data is startling. Studies show that up to 37% of medical tests performed on seniors lead to treatments and side effects that were completely avoidable. And here's the most shocking part. One specific test on our list today is now estimated to cause up to 5% of all cancers in the United States. That's a risk comparable to daily alcohol consumption. So today, we are pulling back the curtain on 5 common checkups you should think twice about after the age of 70. And more importantly, what to do instead, all backed by solid scientific evidence. Before we dive in, I'd love to know where you're watching from and your age. Let us know in the comments below. And have you ever regretted a medical test or a procedure? We read every comment and reply personally with tips and support. Now, let's get into it. Coming in at number 5 is the bone density scan, also known as the DEXA scan. On the surface, it sounds harmless, a quick, painless scan to check for weak bones. But for those over 70, it often creates far more fear than actual benefit. Here's the truth. Bone loss is a normal, natural part of aging, just like getting gray hair. Yet, countless seniors are given the label osteopenic, which just means mild bone loss, and are immediately pushed onto powerful medications like bis. These drugs come with a scary list of potential side effects, including severe reflux, brittle bones that can fracture more easily, and even a rare but horrifying condition called jawbone death. A large-scale study found that over 5 years, these drugs reduced fracture risk by a tiny 0.3%. That's almost nothing, but they caused significantly more side effects in the process. Consider the story of Rose, a vibrant 76-year-old piano teacher. Her DEXA scan showed mild bone loss. Her doctor immediately prescribed medication. Within just a few months, she developed debilitating acid reflux and constant jaw pain. Frustrated, she stopped the meds. Instead, she focused on getting enough vitamin D, eating calcium-rich foods like yogurt and leafy greens, and starting a light strength training routine. The result? Her balance improved dramatically. Her confidence soared, and she never fractured a single bone. The science supports her approach. A 2022 study in the journal Osteoporosis International found that if you not already falling or breaking bones, focusing on lifestyle is key. Simple things like strength training, balance exercises, and proper nutrition can cut your fracture risk by over 20%. So, focus on your function, not just a number on a scan. Next, at number 4, we have the brain MRI for mild memory loss. Forgetting a name or where you put your keys can be scary, and it's natural to want answers. But jumping to an MRI isn't always the right move. The reality is, most MRIs in seniors only show normal, age-related changes in the brain, not a specific disease. A 2021 study revealed that a staggering 86% of Mr. is in people aged 70 to 85 showed so-called abnormalities. But guess what? Only 3% of those were actually linked to a treatable problem. The rest just led to a spiral of fear, more invasive tests, or even unnecessary surgeries, all without doing a single thing to improve memory. Take George, a 74-year-old, who was worried about some mild forgetfulness. His doctor ordered an MRI, which showed some common white matter spots. The report terrified him. He instantly thought he had dementia. He gave up driving, withdrew from his friends, and became deeply depressed. But later, a simple cognitive test showed his memory was completely normal for his age. All that anxiety was for nothing. So, what's the takeaway? Unless your symptoms are severe, we're talking about things like seizures, sudden and extreme confusion, or a very rapid decline in your abilities, it's often best to skip the MRI. Instead, ask your doctor for a simple cognitive screening test first. It's quick, inexpensive, and can give you a much clearer picture without the needless panic of an overread MRI report. At number 3 is the cardiac stress test. This test monitors your heart while you exercise on a treadmill or after receiving medication to stress the heart. It sounds like a smart, proactive way to check your heart health, right? But here's the catch. In adults over 70, the false positive rate can be as high as 40%. That means 4 out of 10 healthy people might get a result suggesting they have a problem when they do. This often sends them down a rabbit hole of more invasive procedures, like angiograms or even getting a stent placed in their heart, procedures that carry real risks like bleeding, kidney injury, and long, difficult hospital stays. One study in JAMA Cardiology found that over half of all stents placed after these stress tests were put in patients who didn't actually need them. Let me tell you about Raymond, a 75-year-old retired postman. He noticed he was feeling more tired than usual when climbing hills on his daily walk. His stress test came back positive, and doctors rushed him in for a stent. But the procedure didn't go smoothly. He developed serious kidney issues from the contrast dye and ended up spending 6 long days in the hospital, and the cause of his fatigue, it turned out to be simple dehydration. If you don't have clear cardiac symptoms like chest pain, pressure, or significant shortness of breath, a stress test might not be your best option. There are safer alternatives, like a simple resting EKG or a coronary calcium scan, which provide valuable information with much less risk. Now for number 2, and this one might surprise you, the colonoscopy. We've all heard that colonoscopies save lives, and they absolutely can. But after age 70, and especially after 75, the equation starts to change. The risks can begin to outweigh the benefits. The bowel prep alone can cause severe dehydration and kidney problems in older adults. The sedation required increases the risk of post-procedure confusion and memory issues. Even worse, the procedure itself carries a small but serious risk of complications like internal bleeding or even tearing the bowel wall, which is a life-threatening emergency. A huge 2019 study looked at over 1.3 million seniors. It found that for every 1,000 colonoscopies performed on people over 75, only 2 lives were saved from colon cancer. But 20 people suffered serious complications. Consider Dana's story. At 73, she had no symptoms and a history of clear colonoscopies, but her doctor urged her to get another one just in case. During the procedure, a tiny, harmless polyp was removed. That very night, she developed severe abdominal pain. Her colon had been perforated. She spent 9 agonizing days in the hospital and never truly regained her former strength. If you have a history of clear colonoscopies, it's crucial to have a conversation with your doctor about non-invasive alternatives, like the FIT stool test. You do it at home, there's no prep, and it's very effective at catching most cancers that need attention. And finally, the number 1 test you should question after 70. The full-body CT scan. These are often marketed directly to the public as a revolutionary early detection tool. But, in reality, they are one of the most dangerous tests a healthy senior can undergo. A single full-body CT scan exposes you to a dose of radiation equivalent to about 500 chest X-rays. A landmark 2023 study in JAMA Internal Medicine found that the rising use of CT scans may now be responsible for up to 5% of all cancers in the US. And what do these scans typically find? Mostly harmless incidentalomas, tiny cysts, nodules, or calcium deposits that are meaningless. But these findings trigger a cascade of more scans, painful biopsies, and risky surgeries that cause real harm. Marcus was 80 years old and felt fantastic, but he signed up for an executive health program that included a full-body scan. The scan found a tiny, suspicious nodule in his lung. He was sent for a biopsy to check it. The nodule was benign, completely harmless, but the biopsy procedure collapsed his lung. He spent weeks in painful recovery, all for absolutely nothing. The consensus among medical experts is now crystal clear. Never get a full-body scan unless you have specific, unexplained symptoms like sudden, significant weight loss or persistent bleeding. There is no proven survival benefit from these scans, only a mountain of risk. After 70 more testing doesn't always mean more safety. True health isn't about chasing every possible test. Before you say yes to any scan or procedure, arm yourself with 3 simple questions for your doctor. 1. If this test finds something, what will we do about it? 2. Will the result of this test actually change my treatment plan? And 3. What are the real risks and potential harms of the test itself? Remember, the best prevention is, and always has been, your lifestyle: staying active, eating nourishing food, getting deep, restorative sleep, and nurturing your social connections. Modern medicine is a powerful tool, but sometimes the wisest and healthiest choice is to recognize that less is truly more. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you or a loved one ever faced complications from a test or procedure that turned out to be unnecessary? Please share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you and share personalized advice. And if you found this information valuable, please give this video a like, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe for more science-backed videos on aging well. Thank you for watching.